Welcome to Author Mindset Monday with a really awesome quote. You cannot change your reality if you think someone else is responsible for it. Isn't that so very true? If we're playing the blame game, oh my goodness, our life is liable to be a disaster and we're always going to think that it's not our fault. I'm great. I'm doing fine. Someone else's problem. Yeah, well, that's just not so true. Hi there, my name is Christopher Diarmani, and it is my pleasure, it is my passion to empower nonfiction authors just like you, so you can turn your dream of writing a book into your published reality. It's why I do what I do. I just love it. And what I want to do today is talk about this quote about taking personal responsibility for our lives, because until we do, nothing's ever going to change. It's a sad, sad truth. So when you're playing the blame game, and as I said in the opening, if you're playing the blame game and it's always someone else's fault, someone else is responsible for all the crap going on in your life, well, you're in for a really long haul because not much is ever going to change. It's when we take responsibility for our lives that all the great things that we want for our lives can actually come true. Because it all does come down to us. There's no one out there that's going to save us. There's no one out there that's going to do it for us. There's no one going to come along and wave their magic wand at us and have everything be fantastic. We're the one that has to wave the magic wand. We're the one that has to show up. We're the one that has to do the things if we have to have our dreams come true. So, when you're refusing to take responsibility for your life, when you're playing that blame game, that's a terrible plan for living your life, let alone trying to do anything else, something really amazing, like writing and publishing your book. Take responsibility for your time. And that's arguably one of the most difficult things for any of us to do. But the truth is, of course, as this smiling young lady says, or certainly shows on her face, I'm responsible for my successes. I'm also responsible for my failures. But at the end of the day, what I learn from the failures will help me grow. And the successes are just so much fun, right? Way more fun. And for us authors, the ditches alongside Publication Highway are filled with cars that have flipped over, rusted hulks of someone else's vehicle that crashed there 2 years ago. Like there's all kinds of disasters all down Publication Highway from people, caused by people who weren't willing to either take responsibility for their life, or they weren't willing to do the thing that was put in front of them to do. They weren't willing to do the one thing that they needed to do to write, finish, and publish their book. And that's right. Every single day. You have a message to share with the world, right? It's not going to write itself. It can't. But all those rusted out hulks you see along the roadside of Publication Highway, those are the people that refuse to do one simple thing. They refuse to face that hard but simple truth that if they just persisted, if they just got up one more time and then they fell down, their book is absolutely guaranteed. That's the challenge, right? Because they'll explode the doors of possibility in front of them, and I just love that analogy, because when you kick open those doors of possibility, just amazing things are open to you. So many great opportunities will approach you because they can. The doors aren't locked. Now, is it annoying, especially in the beginning, to design and build that daily writing habit? I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. It's like when you're trying to build any new habit. The first week, the first 14 days, the first 21 days, the first week especially is going to be the hardest because it's something new. It's something you haven't done before. It's something that everything in your being is saying, I don't need to do this, when it's the one thing you actually need to do most. But our mind does like to play tricks on us. Our mind likes to lie to us. It likes to say stupid little things like, you can do it later. Tomorrow's fine. There's no pressure. Don't worry about it. No, watching your favorite television show tonight, that's way more important than writing the next chapter of your book. You can do that anytime, but this show, it's only live once, right? Well, lies. Every single one of those things are lies. Now, and the reason all that goes on, of course, is because resistance is highest in that moment after we've made the decision that I will do something right here in this moment to make my life better. Doesn't matter what it is. Resistance is always highest at that very moment. And so when you know that, you can prepare for it. You can do the things that you need to do to make sure that it can't derail you. It can't send you off the road into the ditch and flip over like that car we showed a minute ago. When I use my persistence, when I use my determination, my perseverance, When I develop that daily writing habit, I give myself a really amazing and precious, precious gift. I give myself the ironclad guarantee that my book will be written, my book will be finished, and my book will be published. I cannot fail if I do this one simple thing. So my question for you, of course, is, are you willing to do the one simple thing that will guarantee your success? It's really simple, and that's what trips, I think that's what trips up so many people, is it's just so simple. There's got to be more to it, right? There isn't. There really isn't. Sit down every day at the scheduled hour, write whether you feel like it or not. That's the roadway, that's the pathway to success. That is how you successfully get to the end of publication highway. You're not going to get there by, thinking about it or doing something once in a while when you feel like it. It only happens if you give yourself that absolute ironclad guarantee that your book will be finished, will be published. And that's by doing the work right here today. That is what the first stepping stone to doing the work tomorrow, and doing the work the day after that, and the day after that. So one of the things that a lot of authors that I speak with say, well, I have a real hard time finding the time to write. Well, the question is the wrong, or the statement is the wrong statement. You don't find time. Time is a finite thing. We only have 24 hours in every single day, 1,440 minutes every day. And the brutal truth is that we're responsible for how we spend every single one of those minutes. So instead of saying, well, how do I find the time to write? Ask yourself a better question. How do I make the time to write every single day? What am I willing to do less of? What am I willing to give up entirely in order to make space in my day so that I can write for an hour today and get that next chapter done of my book, or the next portion of a chapter, whatever it is for you that's really important. You can't find time, but you can make the time. You truly can. And here's another really brutal reality. You, like me, spend your time, your precious time, on the things that you value most. That's not to say they're the things that are best for you, or the things that will help you achieve your goals. They're the things you value most, often not even at a conscious level. So if what you're doing today is you're playing solitaire on the computer, or you're watching television, or you're doing any of the other 100 things that you could do in the course of a day that are not writing your book, if you're doing any of those things while you're not writing your book, then my question to you is really simple. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do less of? The goal is to write your book. The goal is to finish and publish your book. And so for this short period of time, yes, it's really, really important to set aside some of those things that we might enjoy, but they don't get our book written. They really don't. If you want to terrify yourself, track your time for a week. I guarantee you'll be horrified with what goes on. You really will, because your time doesn't lie. Your time will tell you exactly what you value and what you value most. Because whatever you spend most of your time on, that's the thing you value most at some level. And that can be a really uncomfortable truth, a really uncomfortable truth. But the whole purpose of doing this is to track your time for a week and to see where that time goes, to be honest with yourself about what you could be doing instead of watching television, or whatever those 100 other things are, going down to the bar with your buddies, whatever. It's not to play. It's not so you can have a pity party, and it's not so you can beat yourself up. It's really, really not. It's so you can make an honest self-assessment of where your time is going today, so you can make a better decision tomorrow. That's the point of all of this. I want to always make a better decision tomorrow than I'm making today, and I want today's decision to make sure that my tomorrow's decision is a better one. If that circular logic makes any sense, I always want to make my tomorrow better than my today was, and there's always a way to do that. There's always a way to do that. So yeah, if that thought terrifies you just a little bit, great. And I say great because the fact that it scares you tells me that writing your book is important. So capitalize on that fear that you feel in your guts right now and use it as motivation to drive you out of that pit of despair, or whatever that place of complacency is that you're living in right now, and commit to starting today writing for 30 minutes, writing for half an or for an hour, writing committing to writing 1,000 words before you quit. Like, make some sort of commitment. Schedule it on your calendar every single day, and show up whether you feel like it or not. That's the thing that's going to really flip the switch in your head, because after the first 3, 4, 5, 7 days, once you've beat down that resistance that is so determined, especially in the beginning, once you beat that stuff back, writing becomes something you look forward to. It's a breeze. It's a thing. Well, for me, it's the thing I love doing most. And if you're a writer, I would be willing to bet it's one of the things you love doing most as well. And it can all be really, really simple. But if you are finding it challenging to make the time in your life to write, or if you don't know what you really need to figure out so you can have a successful journey down publication highway, then I would highly encourage you to connect with me, and perhaps my Roadmap for Author Success VIP session is a thing that might help you. It might be, it's a really great process where you and I get together on a Zoom call, and we stay on that Zoom call for as long as it takes. The process typically runs 4 to 5 hours. And some of it's going to be really challenging, and some of it's going to be really fun, and there's going to be stuff in between. But at the end of the day, you'll walk away with knowing exactly at your core level why writing your book is so, so very important to you. You will walk away knowing that you've answered most of the big questions about how you get from where you are today down to that finish line at the end of a publication highway. You'll have your complete detailed outline for starters. That's a really great thing. But you'll also know where you're spending your time, because we'll walk through an exercise of doing that, so that you know where your time is going right now, so that you can make those changes. So you can set aside those things that are, if only for this finite period of time, that you can set those things aside so that you can make the time in your life so that you can write. And you'll also know to the day how long it'll take you to write that first draft. And that is just such an empowering number. It really is. Manuscript math is one of my favorite things, because with those simple 3 things that you control, how fast do you write, how much time can you devote to writing, and how many hours a day can you devote that much time to writing? Those 3 simple variables that you control will determine with complete accuracy how long it's possible, how quickly, I should say, it's possible for you to write and publish your book. Write your first draft. Step back a second. Because there's the revision process, there's the book prep process, there's the publication process. But this will give you everything you need to know to get that to the end of publication highway in terms of that very first draft. And then you just repeat that process for your revisions. And within a really short period of time, you'll take this thing that may feel like a complete mountain in this moment, and you'll get to the end of it, and it'll be really, really simple. And manuscript math is that thing that kicks open those doors of possibilities so beautifully. I love that whole process. And I can't wait to share that with you. So if that works for you, if that's something that would be useful for you, and if perhaps you need that accountability, someone else to walk you through the process, then go to authorcoach.click/roadmap, and I'll see you on the other side of that. Because if you're struggling with getting started, this 4 to 5 hour session where we will cover all those things, it'll blow your mind, because it'll take away all those, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? None of that stuff exists anymore. It's all gone. And all you're left with is this really beautiful plan tailored specifically to your life, so that you can write, finish, and publish your book. That thing that maybe you've been talking about doing for years, and so far has remained nothing but a pipe dream. I want to help you turn that pipe dream into your everyday reality. I want you to have that dream, take that dream that you have of writing that book and turn that into your published reality. And you can do this. You can do this, and you can do this really quickly as well. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.